Hi everyone, Dr. Mark Costas here, founder of the Dental Success Institute. And I really appreciate you joining me on this video today. Today I'm going to cover the top 5 low-cost or no-cost explosive growth strategies that I've used within all of my own practices. But there is one thing that I want to make sure that you guys understand that you have to be able to do in order to grow your practice and to make these strategies work. So there are two main things that are holding dentists back these days. And the first one is not actually taking action. So lack of action is a really big reason that dentists fail in the marketplace today. It's not lack of information. It's not lack of access to that information, because there's plenty of information out there to help dentists, improve their practices. But the number one reason that dentists fail right now is because they lack the ability to take action. And number two is lack of implementation. Even those that do take action and perhaps get training, get coaching, purchase some advanced strategies from coaches, a lot of them don't end up moving forward and implementing those strategies because they just have too much to do. And I understand exactly how it is. As being a clinician, a full-time clinician, a lot of times it's very difficult to get some of these strategies in place and to implement them for the long haul. So before you do anything else, before you can succeed in growing your practice, you must be able to do one thing, and that one thing is you have to be able to delegate. Now, being able to delegate is definitely an art in and of itself. To be able to hand something over to somebody else and to know that perhaps they might not be able to do quite as good a job as you would in that particular area. I have a lot of dentists, that are really into web design, and they insist on doing their own web design because they don't think that anybody else could do it as good as them. It goes the same for, equipment maintenance or anything else in the dental office that they feel that they might be better than somebody else at. So they refuse to delegate that out. But what you have to remember is that your time is better spent in many other areas of the practice, particularly producing dentistry. And I think that the main reason that so many dentists nowadays get burnt out is because they're trying to do too many things within the practice. They're trying to be the maintenance man and the web designer and the social media coordinator, and it's all just too much. But at the end of the day, after they're doing all that, plus handling payroll and the books and managing employees and doing the dentistry, it's no wonder that so many people are having a difficult time growing their practices nowadays. So you got to be able to delegate all the lower tasks to your staff. And if you don't feel that anybody on your staff is qualified to handle some of these tasks, like I said earlier, it might not be a bad idea to maybe get a virtual assistant or go on to Elance or Odesk or Fiverr, one of those types of websites, and maybe hire some of these tasks out. And if you guys are interested in knowing a little bit more about that, you can always contact me at my office or email me, and I'll share some more tactics on how to get a great assistant that can help you delegate all those lesser activities out to other people. All right, so the first strategy, let's get down to the basics here. The first strategy of the low-cost, no-cost strategies for explosive growth is press releases. Now, I'm sure that all of you understand what a press release is, but I think that the big problem is a lot of people don't know how to utilize a press release, and I'm sure that many people have tried to get a press release out there to their local newspaper, and they weren't picked up, and you get discouraged, and you stop placing them. I've been placing press releases several times a year for the last decade, and it's probably saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars in advertising. And not only has it helped in each of the markets that I've been in. Remember that I've had 6 different dental offices, and I've been able to build those in a very short period of time. Really, the press releases have helped to kind of get my name out in the markets that I've been in without any cost whatsoever. Now, it did take me a while to realize that the press releases that are generally picked up are usually press releases having to do with some sort of community outreach. Okay, believe it or not, even though we're clinicians and we're interested in our craft, most of the general public is not that interested in the newest technique of this or that. They're interested in getting in, getting out, getting their teeth fixed as quickly as possible, and spending as little time as possible in your office. It's a sad fact, but it's true. Most people don't want to be there and they don't want to hear about it, and they typically won't want to read about the newest technique that you've picked up at a seminar. So those types of press releases almost always fail to get picked up by the newspapers, and you're really wasting your time. So what I found that the most successful type of press releases, like I said earlier, are the community outreach type press releases. And those are the ones that consistently in my markets have been picked up. And I like to do this sort of thing anyway, but we have, at least quarterly, we do free dental days at my offices, which means that we'll do free cleanings, free extractions, free x-rays, and free sealants on kids. And we usually open up the office on Saturdays, and we'll do a nice press release, and we'll release that out to the local newspaper. And 99% of the time they'll pick that up and they'll help us promote our free dental day because they understand that's good for the community. So that's a really good example of the type of press releases that are picked up by the local newspaper. I also, once a year, I get a small group of people together, and we act on donations, and I match all the donations, and we bring Thanksgiving meals to needy families around our areas. And each and every year, the newspaper puts out a press release for me. Actually, several newspapers put out a press release for me prior to the event. That allows people to reach out to me if they're in need of a Thanksgiving meal, or if they want to nominate somebody for a Thanksgiving meal. And then they do a second press release after to let me know, to help me announce the results, or any nice human interest stories that came from actually bringing meals to people that were in need. So that's another great example of a press release. You've all heard about the Halloween candy buybacks. Those are pretty good for press releases. You can say, you can put a press release out that says you're willing to take candy back for $1 a pound or $1.50 a pound for local kids the day after Halloween for their candy. The press really loves that type of story. And if like I said earlier, if you don't have time to actually write the press releases, all you have to do is go on to the website called Elance or Odesk or even Fiverr. And Fiverr is just a website where you can get people to do pretty much anything for $5. And you just post the job, say, I would like a press release written. Here are the details, and write 2 sentences about what happened, and you'll get a nice press release written back from one of these outsourced people. And usually you could probably get that done for $10 to $15. Totally worth it. Lots of free publicity and goodwill that you could build in your community.